Welcome back, YouTube. Sensei Domino here. I got a package in the mail today that came from the UK. I've been waiting for it for about a little over 3 weeks, and it had 3 different tobacco card sets that I ordered off of eBay. The one that you see in front of you is a multi-sport set, and the other 2 sets are cricket sets. The reason I purchased these sets is, well, for the cricket sets, is I'm trying to learn more about the game cricket, and one of the first names that I learned about was basically the Babe Ruth of cricket, a guy by the name of Don Bradman. And Don Bradman has a card in each of those sets, and that was the main reason why I purchased the sets. In fact, the Bradman cards sell for about the same amount as the entire set, so I just went ahead and bought the full sets, and they have several other Cricket Hall of Famers that I was unfamiliar with, and so that's kind of a bonus that went along with my purchase. The reason that I purchased the set that you see in front of you is it has a card of a soccer player by the name of Dixie, who's one of the best soccer players of all time. On top of that, this set also has a card of a tennis player by the name of Helen that I'm a pretty big fan of, and I've mentioned in a previous video. There is also a card of a boxer slash wrestler by the name of Primo Carnera that I'm a pretty big fan of as well. And so that's the main reason why I purchased this set. This set also has several other Hall of Famers that I was sort of unfamiliar with. When the set got here, I immediately started doing research on the other cards in the set, and so I made quite a few notes. I got like 3 pages of notes that I wrote down so I can kind of talk about the players as I show the cards. And so if you hear me wrestling through some papers, that's kind of what I'm doing. Anyway, this set that you see in front of you is the 1934 Gallaher Champion set. And it's a 48 card set. And let me go ahead and clear it off the screen. And I'll start showing you the cards. This first card is Bunny Austin, who's a tennis player. He's a member of the International Tennis Hall of Fame, and he's also known for being the first person to wear shorts in a tennis match. So that's kind of cool. Next, we have Alex James, who was a soccer player. He's a member of the English Football Hall of Fame, the Scottish Football Hall of Fame as well. And he was a playmaking midfielder for Arsenal on a team that won 6 trophies in a 7-year span. So he was certainly a pretty good player. Next, we have another tennis player by the name of Fred Perry. He's in the International Tennis Hall of Fame. He's a former #1. He won 10 majors, including 8 Grand Slams, and he won Wimbledon 3 years in a row between 1934 and through 1936. The next card, this is Helen Moody. This is one of the cards that I purchased the set for. And so, happy to see that it arrived in good condition. For the most part, this set's in sort of EX condition. There's some that are a little better, some that are a little worse. But overall, I'm pretty happy. There is one card that's got some writing in it, so that's a little disappointing, but that can be replaced. And so Helen Moody is in the International Tennis Hall of Fame. She won 31 Grand Slam titles, including 19 singles titles, and she was one of the best tennis players in her time. This is Ian Smith. He was a rugby player. He's in the Scottish Rugby Hall of Fame. He played 32 tests for Scotland, and in those tests, he scored 24 tries, which is tied for the all-time record. Next, we have Robert Wyman. Now, he's shown here doing speed skating. He set a speed skating record in 1933. But he's also in the British Ice Hockey Hall of Fame. And he was a very good ice hockey player. He was on the team that won the gold medal in the 1936 Olympics as well. So that's kind of cool to have him doing speed skating here. Next, this is Jack Crawford, tennis player, member of the International Tennis Hall of Fame. He was the #1 amateur in 1933, and in 1933 he won the Australian Open, the French Open, he won Wimbledon, and made the finals of the US Open. Almost swept the majors. Also, throughout his career, he won the Australian Open 3 other times, in 1931, 32, and 35. This is the main reason I purchased the set. This is the Dixie Dean card. He's in the English Football Hall of Fame. He's regarded as one of the best center forwards of all time. He scored 391 goals in 448 appearances. He also has the most goals in an English top flight season, which is 60 goals, which he did in 27-28 season. So if you don't know about this guy, go check him out. Certainly one of the all-time greats. Happy to have a card of his. This next one is a pretty famous cricket player. I didn't even know he was in this set. This is Wally Hammond. He's in the ICC Cricket Hall of Fame. He's considered one of the best batsmen of all time. In his Test career, he scored 7,249 runs and had 83 wickets. In the first class cricket, he scored 50,551 runs, which is good for the 7th highest ever, and he had 167 centuries, which is good for the 3rd highest. So he's certainly one of the best cricket players of all time. He also has a card in the other 2 sets that I purchased, so it's nice to kind of build up a Wally Hammond set. Gotta flip over my page. Next we have Denny Shute, golfer. He's in the World Golf Hall of Fame. He won 3 majors, the PGA Championship in 1936 and 37, and he won the Open Championship in 1933. He also finished 2nd in the US Open in 1941. It's a pretty clean card. This next one is Malcolm Campbell. Obviously, he's known for motorsports. He's in the International Motorsports Hall of Fame and the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America. He also held the land and water speed records multiple times during his career. It's a pretty sick looking car too. Next we have a cricket player, Harold Larwood. He's in the ICC Cricket Hall of Fame, and he's considered one of the fastest bowlers of all time. Although testing speed in his day was incredibly difficult to do, there have been tests that have been done on how fast he threw, and it's speculated that he threw between 90 and 100 miles an hour. So, you know, if you want to compare that to baseball, if he was up near 100 miles an hour, he was certainly throwing that thing with some heat. He also used a body line attack, which was developed by another guy that we have in this set named Douglas Jardine, which was used during the 1932 and 33 test. But I'll tell you more about that when we get to the Douglas Jardine card. Anyway, next we have, this is the Primo Carnera card. And obviously in this photo he was a boxer. He's actually part of the WWE Hall of Fame. He was pretty good at both sports. He was a world heavyweight boxing champ from June 1933 to June 1934. And he also won more fights by knockout than any other heavyweight in history, 72. And as a wrestler, he went undefeated for 120 straight wrestling matches before his first loss. He had a record of 119, 0, and 1. So I imagine if you start out with that record, you're going to make a Hall of Fame for sure. So, pretty fantastic athlete if you ask me. And last, we have, or at least of this page, this is the Hall of Famers. This is Walter Lindrum. He was a billiards and snooker player. He's part of the Sport Australia Hall of Fame and also the Western Australia Sporting Hall of Fame of Champions. He held the Professional Billiards Championship from 1933 until he retired in 1950. He's considered one of the greatest Australian sports legends ever. And he's one of the best billiards players ever, owning 57 different world records. So he was a fantastic billiards player. Alright, those are the Hall of Famers in this set. Next, I am going to show the more notable players that aren't in the Hall of Fame, that are known for something. I'll start with this card. This is Stanley Woods. He was a motorcycle racer. He won 10 Isle of Man Tourist trophies. He had 29 motorcycle Grand Prix wins as well. And here is the Douglas Jardine card that I mentioned earlier. All right, he used a controversial tactic called the body line. He used it to beat Australia with Donald Bradman in 1932-33 test. The body line was basically where the bowler would pitch the ball short, and what it would do is it would rise towards the batter and not the leg stump. So, you know, it's almost like pitching into the batter. And it was considered dangerous to do that. But when Don Bradman came on after England was super dominant in cricket, and then Don Bradman comes along, he was just killing all the different English teams, and so they basically decided to do this body line strategy to try to slow him down. And they did win, I believe, 4 out of 5 matches, but I don't think you can hold Don Bradman down for very long. So he's not in the Cricket Hall of Fame, but he's certainly known for that. In fact, from what I was reading, he's probably the most hated person in Australia for that strategy. So this right here is Michael Scott. He's a golfer. He's known for, in 1933, at 54 years old, he won the amateur championship. He became the oldest champion ever to do so. at 54 years old. So that's kind of cool. Next we have Bobby Pierce. He's known for rowing. He won back-to-back gold medals in the 1928 and 1932 Olympics. He won the World Sculling Championship in 1933, 34, and 38. And he's also a three-time Australian national champ. This is the card that I mentioned that had some writing on it. You can see the writing on his arm. Some scribbles right here. So I'm a little disappointed in the condition of this card. Anyway, this is Jack Peterson. He was a boxer, as you can see, and he was a two-time British heavyweight boxing champ. So I certainly would like to have this card in a little better condition, but I guess I'll have to buy a replacement at some point. Next we have a couple cards. This is a husband and wife duo. This is Jim Mollison and Amy Johnson. And they were early pioneers in flying. And they set many flying records during the 1930s. And Amy Johnson here was the first woman to fly solo from London to Australia. Flip their cards over. Next we have Gordon Richards, and he was a horse racing jockey. He's actually considered the greatest jockey ever. He won the British Flat Racing Championship 26 different times. Got a little bit of staining right there. But this is certainly an interesting card. Never heard of this guy before today. Kind of happy to have it. Next we have Enid Wilson, a golfer, who won the British Ladies Amateur Golf Championship 3 years straight between 1931 and 1933. Next we have George Strainforth. He was known for flying. He was a Royal Air Force pilot, and he was the first pilot to go over 400 miles an hour in a plane. He did it on September 29th, 1931, and in doing so he was awarded the Air Force Cross for achievement. Flip my page over. Here we go. Here's another cricket player. This is Headley Verity. He was considered one of the greatest slow left-arm spinners in history. Verity faced Don Bradman in 17 different tests. And Verity dismissed Bradman 8 times, more than any other bowler. And Bradman grew to sort of appreciate Verity. And he's quoted as saying he grew more and more to respect Verity both as a gentleman and as a player. He's not in the Hall of Fame, but he certainly sounds like he was a pretty good pitcher. Pretty good bowler. Gotta get the terms right. Next we have Frank Very, who is a motorcycle speedway rider. He's known in 1944, he won the British Wartime Championship. And multiple teams that he was on in the 1930s also won various different championships. So he was one of the more successful motorcycle riders in his day. And the last card of the more notable cards in the set, this is Megan Taylor, who was a figure skater. And she won the World Championship in 1938 and 1939. She also won 3 straight British Championships between 1932 and 1934. So it sounds like she was a pretty good figure skater. Alright. All we have left are, I guess you could call them the commons. I'll go through these pretty fast because I've already gone 20 minutes in this video. This is Donald Finley, track and field. This is Kelsborough Jack, horse racing. He's a horse. This is Hyperion, another horse. This is Tommy Green. I believe he was a speed walker. This is Frank Southall. He was a cyclist. This is Tiger Stevenson, motorcycle racer. This is James McKinley. He was a lawn bowler. Sorry about the glare. This is the Daw, the Greyhound racing. Got a little bit of staining on the back of that one. This is another Greyhound. This is Genial Nobleman. Another Greyhound. This is Queen of Suir, S-U-I-R. Guess that's how you say it. This is Len Bokit, rugby player. This is a yacht. This is Velshita. This is Seminole, horse racing. This is George Saunders, track and field. A little bit of staining on the back of that one. This is Tony Novis, I think, N-O-V-I-S. He's a rugby player. A little bit of, looks like staining on the edge of that one. This is Douglas Woods, known for shooting, competitive shooting. Another Greyhound. This is Future Cutlet. Another greyhound. This is the Scapegoat. This is a billiards and snooker player. This is Sydney Lee. This is Joyce Cooper, a swimmer. And the last card in the set, this is Tom Asquith. He's known for rowing. That's all I have for you tonight. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully I have the other 2 videos posted tomorrow. Until then, thanks for watching the video. I'll talk to you again soon.